Hi, Lou. Could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. My name is Lou Prevo. I was born in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, and I graduated from Wellsboro High School. I live at 20 West Avenue in Wellsboro, and I am the Senior Vice President, General Manager of Mainline Hotels, which includes the Radnor Hotel and the Wayne Hotel in suburban Philadelphia.
Could you tell us what caused you to choose the hospitality industry as a career when you were quite young, right?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was in ninth grade and I went to see a movie at the Arcadia on a Friday night. The movie was called Hotel. And when I came home, I announced to my parents that I wanted to be a hotel manager. However, my father, who was the town doctor for 20 years, he told me that, no, you're going to go into medical school and be a doctor. And that's
Okay. What education do you have, and were there any particular high school courses that perhaps would have been useful to you in pursuing your chosen career?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the key for me was French. I took French and I speak French fluently. And the hotel school that I finally got accepted at was in Lausanne, Switzerland, where they speak French, and the hotel school was in French. And I found about the hotel school from my guidance counselor in Wellsboro in 10th grade when I asked him about hotel schools. And he showed me that the finest hotel school in the world at that time was École Hôtelière de Lausanne, Switzerland. And today, if you Google best hotel school in the world, you'll find that it still is. It comes up, École Hôtelière de Lausanne is number one.
Great. What did your career path look like, and tell us what particular jobs you had along the way?
Well, actually, my first work in the food industry was with right on Main Street at Kuda's Market, which was where the right now it's the Chinese restaurant next to the steakhouse, and I started when I was 14 as a clerk there. And then when I got my driver's license, I continued as a strawberry picker at Parcells Strawberry Farm, which was at that time near the Wellsboro Airport. And during summers in college, I worked at the Hotel Dennis in Atlantic City, New Jersey, as a as a social director. And I also worked on Cape Cod as a wine steward when I was dating my girlfriend, who is now my wife.
What do you particularly like and dislike about your current job?
What I like very much is the opportunity to be able to promote my employees that do well when they enjoy their job. And one of a good example like that is right now the best hotels in Philadelphia is the new Four Seasons, and the general manager worked for me when he first got out of Penn State Hotel School, and he's now the general manager of the Four Seasons. And I saw him recently, and he told me how important what I taught him was in his career, and that made me very proud of what I do. As far as the least thing I like, it concerns social media. When we have these social media sites such as TripAdvisor and Yelp, and they're anonymous, and often people put negative comments about my hotels when they're not really very factual, and it makes it very frustrating for my employees who are involved as well as myself. That's one thing I do not like about the hotel business.
Can you tell us what a typical day is for you in the hotel?
Sure, I'm a salaried manager, typically works 5 10-hour days and gets 2 days off in a row. I start my day at around 7:30 in the morning. And the first thing I do is read my emails, listen to my voicemails, read my mailbox. Then I tour the hotel, say good morning to the staff, and I do that throughout the day, at lunch, happy hour, dinner, try and make sure that our guests are happy and this team is working well together.
Okay, I wonder, could you tell me what a student starting out in the business could expect to earn?
Sure. There's two ways one can start. Obviously, entry level would be an hourly position, maybe as a prep cook or a line cook in the kitchen. And that pay rate in suburban Philadelphia will pay about $15 an hour. And in front of the house, in the restaurants or front office, the position would be as a server, bartender, or host, or front desk agent. And typically that pay rate would start around $14 to $15 an hour. And as things would progress into management, if somebody graduated from college, whether they were in a hotel school or not, typically a restaurant manager would be earning about $45,000 a year. And if he became promoted to director of food and beverage or a sous chef, he would be in the $50,000 to $55,000 range. And ultimately, an executive chef typically is going to make between $75,000 and $80,000 a year. And a director of food and beverage for a full service hotel, he also would be in that same salary range of $75,000 to $80,000.
Okay, what can a student interested in this industry do outside of school to help his or her future prospects? And I'm wondering too, what's important to know about an interview?
Well, it's very important that somebody demonstrates that they have an appreciation for the hospitality industry by working in a restaurant or a hotel or a catering department. One of the key things the person needs to have in that regard is make eye contact at all times, have a nice smile. That's very important in hospitality. But the interview is so important. And there's certain questions that you want to be prepared for the interview by reading about the company and knowing something about the company. However, there's two questions, very important questions that you want to ask during the interview. And one of the first question would be to find out, who is my supervisor going to be? The reason for that is you want to know the background and education of your supervisor, whether he or she has how long has they been with the company and what opportunities are presented. The other question that you need to ask is, when will my first performance review be? How long will it be till my first performance review? And the reason why you want to ask that question is it's going to send a message to the person you're interviewing that, one, you are have an understanding and respect for our work ethic, and you're also demonstrating self-confidence that you feel you're going to do a good job in the company. But those two questions are very important for your interview. Now, even that's not just for the hospitality industry, but frankly, any industry, any interview you're in, you should ask those two questions.
Okay, do your hotels have any community involvement? And if so, what does that look like?
Yes, the Radnor Hotel was one of the founding sponsors of the Radnor Run, which was a 5-mile run to benefit the American Lung Association. And we also I'm proud to say, the Radnor Hotel was the first full-service hotel in Pennsylvania to be completely 100% smoke-free. At the Wayne Hotel, they get very involved at Christmas time when Santa Claus arrives on a fire truck, and he then listens to the children on the front porch about what they might want for Christmas, front porch of the Wayne Hotel.
Wonder, have you had a chance to meet anyone famous during your career?
Yes, that's one of the interesting parts of a career in hospitality. For instance, on the political scene, I've met President George W. Bush, and when he stayed at the Radnor, also President Barack Obama stayed at the Radnor. Both gentlemen very proactive and with this team. And in the sports field, famous golfer Arnold Palmer stayed at the Radnor Hotel. Also, NFL Hall of Famer Dan Marino, who played for the Miami Dolphins as a quarterback after he went to the University of Pittsburgh. And also Sports Jay Wright, who's the basketball coach at Villanova University. He has won 2 world championships, and he has breakfast at the Radnor Hotel. entertainers, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, he was a regular, stayed at the Wayne Hotel. Got to meet Bruce Springsteen, as well as at the Radnor Hotel. Selena Gomez and her band practiced before they played down in Center City, Philly at the Radnor Hotel. And two stars of the women's Olympic gold medalists, Mia Hamm and Brandy Chastain, also stayed at the Radnor Hotel.
Well, that sounds like fun. Would you be open to an interested student getting in touch with you, and how would they go about that?
Sure, I do that all the time. Anyone that has any questions about a career, more than happy to talk to them or meet with them. My email address is lewis@mainlinehotels.com. Mr. Chappelle has all my contact information. He can provide that. Also, I'm sending to Mr. Chappelle a little one-page quick test about take the test for is a hotel job for you. And it's very quick, but it'll give you an idea of some of the things that you should be doing. Also, a good book to read is Danny Meyer's Setting the Table. I made a summary of the book. It's actually required reading in some hotel schools, and Mr. Chappelle will have that. But I do want to make it clear, I'll also make sure Mr. Chappelle has, is there's 10 core standards that we look for in hiring someone. And they're all basic things that everyone should strive to do. But two of the most important things that we look for is a person that makes eye contact and smiles and demonstrates an interest in working in the hospitality industry.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Prevost, for your time. And I hope that a lot of our students that are interested in the hospitality industry will contact you.
Good. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.